Hello everyone, welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy where your dreams are our mission. This is Yatharth here. In today's lecture, we'll be talking about the most important straits of the world. We'll also be focusing upon recent current affairs related to those areas which are in news. Alright, so this is most important for prelims. Let's start. Just a second. Okay. So what we'll be covering 30 most important straits of the world as well as mapping. Okay, so let's first start with some basic facts. Just a second. Okay, so what is a strait? A strait means something, a narrow passage that connects two water bodies, two different water bodies. All right, one more thing, how is a strait formed? Okay, this can be formed because of a isthmus fracture. Isthmus fracture, basically tectonic plate movement. Okay, and there can be various reasons also. Now we have some small facts which we need to remember or learn. So, which is the largest strait of the world? This is Strait of Malacca. This is the first one we'll be dealing with. Okay, second is which is the narrowest strait of the world? Narrowest will be Bosphorus. Okay, so we'll be talking about this as well. Lastly, we'll be talking about which is the deepest strait of the world. So deepest is Lombok Strait. So this also we will see. All right. Chaliye. So next one, let's start with the first one. That is the Strait of Malacca. Okay, Strait of Malacca. So now we have Strait of Malacca here between the this we see the Andaman Sea here. We see the Andaman Sea here. And secondly, we see the South China Sea here or the Indonesian Sea here. Okay, so Strait of Malacca is located between the Andaman Sea as well as the South China Sea or the Indonesian Sea. All right, let's see a deeper picture, a more detailed picture. Okay, here we see the island of the port of the Malacca. Okay, this is the Strait of Malacca. A ship will go from here, okay, and reach itself here. So this is the Strait of Malacca. Please just remember where it is located between the Andaman Sea, and it is very famous. You must all be knowing already. Andaman Sea and South China Sea. And which are the two countries associated with it? Malaysia and secondly is Indonesia. Okay, so please remember these countries. All right, let's move to the next one. That is the current affair portion, Coco Island. Okay, so we recently saw the Andaman Islands, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. All right, 10-degree channel you must be remembering. And now we see the Coco Islands here. Okay, so China has incursion on these Coco Islands. So these were in current affairs very recently. And these are located very close to the Strait of Malacca. All right. So this can serve as a base for China. So this is why you must remember it. Okay. So next one, let us see which one is the next one. Next one, we see the Pak Strait. Okay, so recently this was also in news, the Pak Strait, because of various reasons. So please try to differentiate between the Gulf of Mannar as well as the Pak Strait. All right, so what is the Pak Strait? We'll see. It separates the Pak Bay. The Pak Bay. This is the Pak Bay. Okay, and the Bay of Bengal. And the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so let us see why it was in news very recently because of the Kachativu Island issue. Okay, you must always, all be remembering this Kachativu Island issue between the India and Sri Lanka. Okay, we saw two different island also. The Delft Island also we saw. They belong to Sri Lanka. Okay, so let's just see where they are. Okay, here they are. Okay, this is the Delft Island and this is the Kachativu Island. So this was the island which created the issue between India as well as Sri Lanka. Okay, please remember these important island also. This is the Jaffna or the northern Sri Lankan portion. the northern Sri Lankan portion. All right, and this is India's portion. We have Rameshwaram here as well as Dhanushkodi here. Okay, you can also see the southern end of India, which is Kanyakumari here, is rather far from this all setting. Okay, the Park Bay and the Mannar Island, Mannar, Gulf of Mannar. So this is the Mannar Island, Mannar portion or port you can say, and this is the Gulf of Mannar. Okay, so two important portions we saw, the Strait of the Malacca as well as the Pak Strait. Okay, along with current affairs. Now let us come back to the Strait of Malacca portion and see the different various straits. So Strait of Malacca we already saw, it is between Malaysia as well as Indonesia. Now Indonesia has two islands. Okay, it has Sumatra Island and it has the Java Island. And here it has the Bali Island. Okay, so we'll see the different straits that connect these. So this is the Sunda Strait. Okay, Sunda Strait connects Java Sea as well as Indian Ocean. So this is the Java Sea we have, and this is the Indian Ocean. Okay, so two different water bodies, they are connected by the Sunda Strait. Okay, so please remember this as well. Important, we can say. Let us see a detailed map here. Okay, so we can see between Sumatra and Java, we have this Sunda Strait or Sunda Strait. Okay, it is connecting the Java Sea with the Indian Ocean. All right, now let's move to the next one. That is between the Bali and Lombok. Okay, it is known as the Lombok Strait. So let's come up and see this again. So this is between the Bali as well as Lombok. So this we saw, it was the deepest strait of the world. Deepest strait of the world. Okay, now let's come to the next one. So how many we saw already? Malacca we saw. The Pak Strait we saw. The Sunda Strait we saw. And the next we saw was Lombok Strait. Okay, now let's come to the next one. This is known as the Makassar Strait. Okay, so let's do one more thing. Once more. This is Malacca Strait. Strait of Malacca. Okay, here we saw the Sunda Strait. Here we saw the Lombok Strait. And here we saw the Makassar Strait. Where? Here. Between the Kalimantan and the island of Sulawesi. So it connects the Sulawesi Sea with the East Java Sea. Alright, so very important strait. Okay, so four strait you remember from here. The ones I told. Makassar Strait. Okay. Now let's come down from Indonesia and go towards Australia, Papua New Guinea and Australia. Okay, so here Indonesia ends and here the Papua New Guinea start. So what do we see? Papua New Guinea is very famous. Okay, recently it was in news because of its tribal culture, because of the cannibalism culture. So you can read about this. Okay, and now we see the Torres Strait. It is between the northern end of Australia and between the Papua New Guinea. So we can say it is between the Arafura Sea and the Coral Sea or different whatever you can name it. Just remember it is in the northern tip of Australia as well as the southern tip of Papua New Guinea. Okay. What we say is that it connects two different water bodies, but water is always connected in the world. Okay, if there is it's not separate body, let's say Caspian Sea. So Caspian Sea is not connected to any different water bodies. The closest water body is the Black Sea. But they are not connected to each other because of the land between them. Alright, now the issue is that all of the rest of the water is connected to each other, whether it is Atlantic, whether it is Pacific. But what do we see internally? The properties of the water is very different while they are still connected. Okay, the waves are different, the wind speed is different, but at a very low level, whether it is, let's say, Arafura Sea, whether it is Coral Sea. Okay, so they have been named as per some convention of the respective countries. Okay, because we have coral reefs here, so it may be known as the Coral Sea. Okay, because of something else, but the water is still the same. So no need to, let's say, worry so much about the water name or the name of the small seas, that this is Coral Sea, this is Arafura Sea. Just remember the basic location. All right, now let's move on to the next one. So we already saw that this is the island of Australia. There's a continent of Australia. Okay, and it has here, rather a big strait, and this is Tasmania. Tasmania and Tasmanian wolf was asked in prelims very recently. Okay, Tasmanian devil. So it's a species, okay, found in Tasmania only. So what separates the Australia and Tasmania? It is known as the Bass Strait or the Bass Strait. Okay, please remember this is Bass Strait. So it separates the southern end of the Australia and the Tasmania. Okay, Tasmania, very small island separated from Australia only. All right. Next one, let us talk about the Australia and New Zealand. Okay, we came down from the Indonesia setting towards the Australia, then we saw the Tasmania, and now we even further come down to the New Zealand. So New Zealand has two islands here, and there is one more smaller island here. Okay, we'll talk about this also. So northern and southern island, they are separated by which strait? They are known as the Cook Strait. Separated by the Cook Strait. Okay, here you can see the Cook Strait. This is the Tasman Sea or the Tasmanian Sea. All right, here. And this is North Island of the New Zealand, and this is Southern Island of the New Zealand. Okay. So let's come to the next one. We talked about the Stewart Island. Okay, so this is the southernmost end of the New Zealand. Okay, even down to the south of the Southern Island. Okay, so let's talk about this. Which strait is here? So it's known as the Fowax Strait. Okay, so we had the Cook Strait separating the northern and southern islands. And now there is a very small island. It's known as the Stewart Island. So which strait is here? It is known as the Fowax Strait. Okay, so please, these two states you can just remember they are associated with the New Zealand. Okay, do not need to remember these things, that Codfish Island, Solander Island, Muttonbird Island. So do not have to remember all this. Just remember that this southern island of the New Zealand has a strait with the Stewart Island, which is even the southernmost tip of the New Zealand. Okay, now let's go forward and see another one. Okay, now we are coming towards the northern part of the South China Territory, we can say, or here. Just a second, I'll make the map. So we can see the Taiwan here. Then we'll be talking about the Japan as well. Okay, we can see the Korean Peninsula in here. So we'll be talking about this later. Just first and foremost, let's talk about the Formosa Strait. Formosa Strait. Recently, it was in news because of this Kinmen Island issue. Okay, so please read about this Kinmen Island issue. They belong to Taiwan. They are located very close to Chinese mainland. Okay, but they belong to Taiwan. So Taiwan and China is having an issue between these because of these Kinmen Island. So please remember these. Also, please do not forget for this year also read about this Paracel Island, Spratly Island and all. Okay, where they are located. But two, three islands are very important. One is this Kinmen Island, and second is Agalega Island. Okay, these are located near the Africa. We'll be talking about Africa as well. Okay. Next, let us talk about the Japan. Okay, so this is the Sea of Japan. We talked about the Japan. Now we have the Sea of the Oshkosh here and the Sea of Japan here. So just where the Japan begins, okay, we see the Tatar Strait. Okay, the Tatar Strait. Just a second. Okay, so we have one strait here which separates this Russia with Japan. So we have the Tatar Strait here. And now we can have one more strait here. Okay. So let's see which strait is this. Okay. So this strait is known as the Tsugaru Strait. Okay, we see the Japanese mainland and the northern island here. The Japanese mainland and the... This is the Japanese mainland. And the northern island here. So we have a strait here known as the Tsugaru Strait. Tsugaru Strait. Okay, let's move to the next one. Which one do we see? Coming to the Red Sea. Okay, Red Sea is much in news. It is much in news because of the Hamas attack and all, and the ongoing Israel conflict. Okay, so Hamas is playing a role in this, and it is having a center in Yemen. Okay, from Yemen it is attacking the Israel. So we see a strait here. Okay, very important strait known as the Bab el Mandab Strait choke point. Why it is known as choke point? Because much of the world traffic is going from here. Okay, much of the world traffic is going from here. They are coming from Mediterranean to Suez Canal, and from Suez they are coming towards this Bab el Mandab Strait. Okay, this is our African Peninsula, and this is our Southern Arabia or Saudi Arabia. Okay, this is the southern end of Saudi Arabia, and this is the Africa. Okay, so what we see here between the African Peninsula and the Saudi Arabian Peninsula, we have the Strait of, Bab el Mandab Strait here. Okay, so this is a choke point because all of the world traffic goes from here, and this area is sort of terrorist area right now. Okay, so please remember this. Next one we see here only. Okay, we saw in the map Bab el Mandab Strait we saw, and the Suez Canal we saw. Okay, this is located towards Yemen. Now, if we go towards this side, okay, or let's say better, it is coming from this side. The oil tankers and all is coming from this side. This is known as the Persian Gulf. Persian Gulf. So we meet the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz. So please remember, Strait of Hormuz. Okay, and further down we go, then we meet the Bab el Mandab Strait, and then the Suez Canal. Okay, let's come to the next one. Here, very important map, let's say, of the Mediterranean Sea and the sea around the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so if we go towards this Italy side, we have the Tyrrhenian Sea in the left. Okay, and in the right, we have the Adriatic Sea. We have the Adriatic Sea. Okay, now if we come towards Greece from Italy, we see the Aegean Sea. We see the Aegean Sea. Okay, then we go towards upside, we see the Sea of Marmara. Then if we go further towards the right or further towards the east, we see the Black Sea. If we go towards the north of the Black Sea, we see the Sea of Azov. Okay, and completely disconnected is Caspian Sea. So let's see which states are here and which state is connecting to what. Okay, very important portion and the most important portion actually. So let's begin with the Kerch Strait. So we see this Kerch Strait between the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. Okay, very important strait. Just please remember the name, Kerch Strait. Okay, this is Kerch Strait. It is between Russia as well as Crimea. Okay, so Russia has some, let's say, issues going on with Crimea and the Ukraine Peninsula right now. So you can just know about this and read about this in current affairs that what's going on in the Kerch Strait. But please remember it is between the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. We talked about this here. Just we talked about this. So it is known as, it is located here. Okay, let's come forward and see between the Black Sea now and the south of the Black Sea, southwest of the Black Sea, Sea of Marmara, we have the Bosphorus Strait. Okay, narrowest strait. We have the narrowest strait here. And from the Sea of Marmara, if we're going towards the Aegean Sea, which was located near the Greece, okay, then we see the Dardanelles. We see the Strait of Dardanelles. Very, very important. And you can see the Greece here, the territory of Greece here, and the Sea of Turkey here. So what we see, this is still, we can say Asia, and this is Europe. Okay, so which two states are making a connection here? The Strait of Dardanelles and the Strait of Bosphorus. Okay, now let's see the next one. We have the Bosphorus Strait in detail here. So Black Sea again and Sea of Marmara, we have the Bosphorus Strait. Very narrow. Okay, and if we go forward from Sea of Marmara towards the Aegean Sea, we see the Dardanelles Strait. Okay, now we see the Ionian Sea and the Strait of Otranto. Strait of Otranto. Just a second. Okay, so here we saw the Greece and this we saw the straits, various straits here in the Aegean Sea and all. Okay, now we move towards the bigger sea, which is known as the Ionian Sea. So in the bigger map, we can see here This is the Ionian Sea. Okay, so let's talk about this strait now. So this is Adriatic Sea and this is Ionian Sea. So Strait of Otranto. Okay, this is between the Albania and the Toronto. So Ionian Sea and Adriatic Sea are connected by Strait of Otranto. Alright, so very important strait, please remember. Okay, next one we see here very small Italy. Okay, so Italy has this Sicily. Okay, and this upper portion. So Italy and Sicily are connected by the Strait of Messina. Strait of Messina, located between Italy and Sicily. Sicily, you must have seen in the movies Godfather movie. We saw that Sicily. All right, so you can remember from there Strait of Messina. Okay, next one we see the Strait of Bonifacio. Strait of Bonifacio. So we saw this was the Adriatic Sea. Lower down we saw the Ionian Sea. Then we saw the Tyrrhenian Sea. And here is the Strait of Bonifacio. So what does it connect? It connects the Corsica and Sardinia. Corsica, very famous in the football field, and Sardinia. You must have heard the name of the fish also, sardine. Okay, so Strait of Bonifacio. Strait of Bonifacio. Please remember. Okay, next one let's talk about. Okay, here we see the Mediterranean Sea. Just a second. Okay, Mediterranean Sea, we have seen here everything. Okay, we saw the Adriatic Sea, we saw the Aegean Sea, we saw the Sea of Marmara, we saw the Sea of this Black Sea. Okay, we saw the Aegean Sea, everything we saw here. Okay, Adriatic, Ionian, Aegean, Sea of Marmara, Black Sea, Sea of Azov, Caspian Sea we saw here. Okay, Strait of the Bosphorus, Strait of the Dardanelles, everything we saw here. Now we move on to this side. Okay, this side we saw already the Canal of the Suez, the Bab el Mandeb Strait, and the Sea of Hormuz Suez. Okay, Strait of Hormuz. Now let's come to this side, and this is the Strait of Gibraltar. This is Strait of Gibraltar between the Spain. That means Europe and the Africa. Okay, very narrow strait. So ships can go from here also if they want to circumvent the Africa completely. Let's say this is Africa. This is Europe. So if a ship wants to completely circumvent the Africa and then come to Asia, then it can go like this also, or it can go from the Suez Canal. Okay, like this also. We saw here Strait Bab el Mandeb Strait and the Strait of Hormuz. All right. Okay, so this is the Strait of Gibraltar. We see here between the Spain as well as Morocco. So here is the Strait of Gibraltar. Okay. Next one, let's talk about. So we see the Africa, Mozambique, and Madagascar. So between the Mozambique and Madagascar, we saw a channel, Mozambique Channel or Mozambique Strait. So this is very simple to remember. It is disconnected part which came from here. Okay, and a strait has been formed. So this is known as the Mozambique Strait. Okay, next one, let's come to the Northern Europe portion. North Europe portion. So what we see here, United Kingdom, London. So this is one thing. This is Ireland. So Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. Okay, and this here we see the Paris, that means France, Netherlands, Denmark, and so on. Okay, so let's see which states are between these. Okay, so we see the Scotland here in the, just a second, between the Northern United Kingdom. So we see the Scotland here and the Northern Ireland here. So between these there is a North Channel. Okay, please remember this is not English Channel, it is North Channel. Okay, separating the Atlantic Ocean and the Irish Sea. Irish Sea is because of the Ireland. Okay, please remember the North Channel. Next one, let us see. So we saw the Irish Sea and the North Channel here. And now let's come to the English Channel. English Channel is separating the United Kingdom from the mainland Europe. Okay, so this is the English Channel. And there is a strait also again, a Strait of Dover. So it separates the North Sea and the Atlantic Ocean here. And English Channel is located between here. It's not really wide. Okay, people swim across it sometimes. And this is the Strait of Dover. Please remember this. Next one, let's see. So between the Alaska and the Russia, so we have the Bering Strait. Okay, this is the Bering Strait. Very important. Next one, let's see. This please remember between the Russia and the USA or Alaska. Okay. So next we come to the northern point of the USA. This is Canada. Okay, we saw the Bering Strait here. Now we come to Canada. Okay, so we see the Canada in the Hudson Bay here we see. Okay, and we see the Baffin Bay. And between the Baffin Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, we see a strait known as the Davis Strait. Okay, please remember it is not the Dover Strait. Some people confuse it with Dover Strait. It is Davis Strait. Okay, and this is the Denmark Strait between the Iceland and the Greenland. We'll see some different strait between Greenland and as well as Canada later on. But just please remember the Davis Strait, the Baffin Bay, the Hudson Bay, the Dover Strait. Dover Strait is related to the United Kingdom here. Okay, Strait of Dover here. Please just remember D and D together, Dover and English Channel. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. Alright, next let's talk about the Hudson Bay and Hudson Strait. So this is the Hudson Strait, very simple. We don't have to remember a lot. Just remember that Baffin Bay as well as the Hudson Bay are located near the Canada. Okay. Next one, let's come to the southern end of the USA. The southern end of the USA. So what do we see here? This is the Gulf of Mexico. This is Florida. So this is the Strait of Florida. Okay, this is the Gulf of Mexico and the we can see the Strait of Mexico, let's say. Just a second. Okay, so this is the Strait of Florida and this is the Yucatan Channel. Okay, they are located as 90 degrees of each other. This is the Yucatan Channel. Okay, and this is the Strait of Florida. So which strait connects the Gulf of Mexico with the Caribbean Sea? It is not the Strait of Florida, it is the Yucatan Channel. Please remember. Okay, very important. The Yucatan Channel. Okay, Gulf of Mexico connected to Caribbean Sea. Alright. Next, let's see the Florida Strait. We are very simple here. Florida, current state of Florida. No need to remember a lot. Just remember the location of Florida. Automatically you will be remembering this. Okay. The next one is the Strait of Magellan. Ferdinand Magellan, if you remember. Okay. Here we saw the Chile and Argentina. So these islands are in the coastal territory of the Chile. Okay. So just we see that the Southern Africa is not like completely connected. It is small tip. So this small tip is separated by this Strait of Magellan because of the Ferdinand Magellan discovering it. Okay, one current affair you can remember from here, which is the Falkland Island. The Falkland Island. So these are often in the current affairs because of the issue between the UK as well as this Argentina. Okay, so this is the portion of current affair you can remember. Alright, so these were all the important states of the world. I'll send this PDF on the channel also. Alright, so I'll see you in the next lecture. Thanks a lot. If you have any feedback, please let me know in the comment section. I hope you are having a great day ahead. See you in the next lecture. Take care.